some of the areas where refugees and asylum seekers were living and found out a little bit more about the areas in Knightswood and in the Gorbals, and really felt that there was a story that needed to be told about the buildings and about the communities and the people who live here. The project's about people and places. It's about these buildings, but very much about the people who live in and around the buildings. And really we want to tell the story of this place here and now. So what's the story of this place in 2013, and ensure that that story and that heritage is really captured for future generations.
Certainly it was a great time of change. You know, the tenements were here were in, as well, you know, were in very poor order. You know, it was slums. They were slums, and they were beyond a point where they could be saved. You know, so tenements literally just getting dropped, and all of a sudden there was concrete coming back out the ground. I think it was to put a kind of marker on the ground that they'd cleared the Gorbals. You know, it was a hot potato then about the condition, the slum conditions of the Gorbals. It was such a rush to make the thing happen. So I always wonder how they managed to do this so quickly. That view that you're looking at the moment is straight across Crown Street. These were only built for something like maybe 10 years and are demolished again. They had problems with condensation, very damp, and very, very quickly the people wanted just to move out. They didn't want to stay in them.
Around 2000 I was a team leader with GASP, and we were part of the council, and we dealt with all the dispersals that came to Glasgow, most of them from London and the southeast. Because the southeast was heavily populated with asylum seekers, the government at the time brought in the Dispersal Act, and people were dispersed throughout the UK, and a huge amount of them came to Glasgow. I think it worked in Glasgow because we had the amount of accommodation to take high numbers of asylum seekers. We did have a number of voids that we could accommodate people in, and most of the voids were in multi-storey flats. A lot of these areas, we had high-rise flats, there was a lot of voids, a lot of vandalism. When the asylum seeker community came into these areas, suddenly the schools were full, the shops, people were having to spend money. So there was this income being generated in the city.
What else makes up in our suit? What kind of things can we do? Clothes? Religion? Religion? Yeah. Dress, absolutely. Yeah, really important. I think with our dress and our clothes, we sort of say something about ourselves, don't we? Hi, Bruce. Hello.
The project's really about capturing the heritage of the high flats that are coming down and really changing the landscape of Glasgow. And what we really wanted to do was capture personal thoughts, taking it away from bricks and mortar and testimonies of people that live in the flats, and really recording that and making sure that lasts.
High-rise flat, if you're lonely, you still know that there's people round about you. You get the same in tenements, but for instance, say you stay at 18 up and you get the lift, many people are going to see that lift.
So if you're the lift, what do you see?
Lights, bleach, people.
No privacy, no dignity, people noisy. Are we birds or we human beings? Staying upright in the flat like birds flying. No, yeah, don't want
like
to high. Boom, we can high rise. Down, we can high rise.
I want to sleep with my neighbours having sex.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
Morning.
Living in a high-rise flat and getting in the morning, and if there were people in the lift, they'd look at you coming in the lift. Then they would look up at the number and down at the floor. They'd be sideways glance at you, up at the number and down at the floor.
Jane was talking about neighbours, and this links back to earlier about having children's parties on landings, and Jane was saying it would be really good to know neighbours.
I'm going to go to the 24th floor. Ding.
Being lifted, doors are open, the concierge is shouting and bawling this man. Stole leave, chairs. They don't belong to you, that man's moving it, he says.
Home office people in my lift and me, and they're coming to take kids away.
You want? No, I smoke. I don't smoke. I don't smoke. No problem. Drink? No, smoke. No, I hate alcohol. I hate. You're stupid.
So I suppose it's almost like a home in a box. It's like if you have to leave very quickly from your home, what you would take with you.
The clothes that I brought here when I came in.
In my suitcase, I suppose I would take my most personal treasures I've got in the house. I would take photographs of my family, my son, me and my mum. I'd also take stuff from Glasgow, just to remind me of Glasgow.
I haven't been here for that long. For them to ask me to go, I'll be very, very sad. Yeah, I don't know if I will even go because I will just run away.
Sometimes people have an assumption of how it might be to live in the high flats, and they really wanted their story told. So once we realised that, we were able to open up through the documentary and through the visual arts and through actually the dialogue within the performances.
If it was just, what kind of sounds do they make?
Scariest is to see the lift.
Yeah.
It's up and makes a boom.
So we'll make those quite loud so people are kind of like walking and go, wow.
You tell me a story before I go to sleep. Tell me about the birds and the bees.
Citizens Theatre, cool. The River Clyde, wow.
When you open the cupboards, it was empty. I opened the fridges, they were empty.
Because what we can do is actually take different photographs from these, because I've
a lot of fun with bits of paper and glue and scissors and all that kind of thing.
And and it's just that thing about the back closes. They were pretty dreadful places, but it didn't stop kids getting out and doing what kids do.
That's in the Glasgow book, I've got that book.
And just the inventiveness as well, and it's that thing about being resourceful. And so is it Farsi?
Iranian.
So I tend to use quite a lot of techniques like collage, so that people, could just actually start tearing up images or just colours and working really. It's important for me to find techniques that people can actually make work without feeling that they have to be great artists. In the flats, in the entrance, we want to put the name of the exhibition and the performance, which is A View from Here, as you know.
done some boards which are 15 by 13 inches, which fit exactly into here, and for maybe you to take a letter each, and to do that in any way you particularly want to.
If you're doing people, look for nice light. If the space is too dark, find a space where it's got nice light. So people went outside to the cafe area. The cafe is beautiful, there's lots of windows. But it's very important when you go outside, anything that you film, it must be recorded for a minimum of 10 seconds.
First thing
minimum.
is this.
That's why I can't fly, because that's why I don't want to stay in the high rise, because it's up in the sky. My heart is in Gorbals.
This shot, which as we see every day, becomes a little bit more interesting.
Well, my favourite window in the house is my veranda, and it's a very big part of my life. I love it. Go out there sometimes when I'm sad, and I come back in cheerful.
What do I like about the Lincoln Flats? Diversity of cultures and communities, decent hard-working families, quiet, respectable, kind. Opportunities for other Scots to learn respect.
A home is a home, but high-rising flats, they have their problems. You get a lot of people who don't share necessarily the same culture and the same background, and they kind of clash. I mean, you should feel lucky that you have a roof over your head, so.
I sit on my veranda. It's my haven, my space. With its fabulous views, my own special place.
Would I want to move out of my cosy wee house? Never. Not us, our hearts are aroused. I would be so madly enraged if I left all my friends I daily engage. My neighbours I'd miss, all my friends too, and especially of all, my beautiful you.
Okay, so plan is we are going to take the birds that we've very lovingly put together with Jan, which they're looking nice and bouncy, and we're going to go over to the performance site. We have got permission now to perform over at Norfolk Court, which is very exciting. So all those ways that we've sort of plotted it all out is going to work really nicely. Into the flat.
Past, present, and future of Gorbals.
Can you imagine all the things on the walls? And things like that?
Maybe pictures.
Pictures, all the photographs and all the work that you've been doing.
Yes.
But we need to decide where those things are going to be. So once we've got them all printed up, we'll be coming back round, and and so does Jan, so does Bash, really want you guys to curate those spaces.
It's really important to bring audiences into new spaces, take it out of the theatre and bring theatre into a space that is domestic and that everybody owns it, and they're able to have a real immediate effect of the story.
That's that nothing.
Look at you, such a diva. It's okay.
She's pop.
It's just the fact that people who are coming to visit aren't coming into a gallery space, they're actually visiting a domestic space where people have lived. And you know, the thing about the project is bringing the flats to life for people who pass by them and making people realise that there are hundreds of stories from all those flats that are going to be no longer.
It's a shame that people have to lose their homes. I know many people would have sincerely loved to have continued living here. But on the other hand, I do understand that it would cost far too much to try and do them all up, because so many of them were way beyond repair. This block is
this block is a perfect example.
How am I feeling? To be truthful, I'm breaking it, but I'm only kidding. No, I'm feeling alright. I was a bit ill, but just need to get on with the show.
I feel good because I know that my line. I can't wait for people to come and see what we are doing here.
Che confissa. Che chicalanga.
Fantastic, guys. Are we ready to kick the show? Absolutely.
So what is the one you have to work it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story before I go to sleep.
Tell me about the birds and the bees.
Tell me about the little tree.
Tell me a story before I go to sleep.
Over the last 40 years, I passed by this high-rise flat. There was always sun was shining, and they were so beautiful and quiet, and no kids were playing. There was really damp and cold, and people looking sad and crowded. I was shocked. Come and see. And what do you think?
School straight into this mass of activity. It's quite daunting. One of the foremen on the site had a cine camera, one of the very early cameras, and every job he ever did, he always took out a wee record of the job that he was on. The picture you're seeing just now is the block of flats that has just been demolished.
Audience group B, like to get ready to come with me.
The ones that are lying in rubble at the moment. This is like almost this is the roof level that we're almost reaching at the moment. That's a view looking towards something.
I was taken in a van. They told me where I was going, but I did not know the place. 30 minutes drive, I found myself in front of a tall building. High-rise flats, very tall. And I could see people somewhere looking through the windows. So I was a bit scared.
Why are you homeless?
Drug problems, lack of support, no houses. This is Glasgow. What can I tell you, hen?
I used to work as an agric instructor in my country. I supervise people. Now people are supervising me.
To the future. God only knows. Everybody's changing. All of you. The residents in this flat are all getting new houses. And for me, I just don't know.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Sally.
Who is that?
It's Christy, Sally.
Christy, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Where are you?
I'm at YMC.
Ah, YMCA?
Yes.
Ah, when did you move in?
This afternoon.
Oh, I live in YMCA too. I live in 19th floor. You look through the balcony then.
Okay.
I'm over here.
Oh, now I can see you, Sally. I can see you.
Can't wait to see you.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm coming over now, okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Come.
I've missed you. I've really missed you.
We had death, birth, suicide, a lot in this building. But can you imagine the site in 10 years' time? What ghost stories we're gonna have?
I opened the cupboards, they were all empty. Then I went down to the reception to ask for tea bags or coffee. When I got there, they said they couldn't help me. Instead, they referred me to go to Tesco, of which I didn't have a clue where Tesco was.
Four of us in a single end, cold water flat,
coal heating, cold water at the tap, gas lighting. We didn't know we were living in slums. The back courts were full of puddles and things like that. The high-rise class is a solution to the slums, and I would say it was, to start with. Say 20 years ago, it was mostly older people that lived here, folk that lived in the slums of the Gorbals, and they were glad to get this house. But over the years, wrong people move in, and there's trouble on the landing, so they wanted out if they could. Someone says to me, this is not a high-rise building, it's an upright street. But you don't know the man down below you.
I've been living in these flats for more than 11 years now. This block here and the one round the corner to the right there are due to be pulled down within the next couple of years.
He said, Lord James Douglas Hamilton mentioned Victorian Scotland Act 1990.
We have a word for 13-4. Who is there? Home office, open the door. Got a word?
Hello everyone, welcome to my house. You experienced a dawn rain outside, didn't you? That's what happened to my friend the Vukac family. So I went down to my friend Jean Donicky down the stairs and we set up a group called CARD, which stands for Kingsway Against Raids and Deportation. And we got the names of every asylum seeker that lived in Kingsway, what block they lived in, and we got their telephone number. And we told them that if the Home Office vans stopped at their block, they would get 3 rings on their phone and they knew to come down the back stairs and up to our health and wellbeing centre, which Eddie opened at 5 o'clock in the morning for us.
The first time I became was we were in the centre and notice came in and Martin, who was manager, read out, oh look, do you know you're getting asylum seekers here? I says, fine. I says, well, we can welcome them and that'd be lovely. And we all sat and discussed what it would mean. But Jazim said, well, we'll have to think in here to put on things to help them because a lot of them won't speak English, etc.
My home is colder than weather. Cold of longing, cold of absence, cold of sadness. How can I rest here? How can I study here? How can I live here?
This project gave me a chance to tell my story to the people. However, all my heritage and my artwork are in Iran, but just I have some of them here to show, which was difficult to have them, but I tried to make this room similar to part of my flat.
Thank you very much for coming too.
We have found from the feedback that people thought that there might be a certain type of people living in the flats, and that judgment has been dissolved by meeting the participants and going, wow, what artistic people, creative people with stories that I've never heard before. This is amazing.
So these things we acted is exactly what happened to everybody. So it was really, so real.
I think it's interesting as someone who's lived in Glasgow to see it's not just this big ugly tower block, it's a real home for people.
Very, very good, very
emotional, great stories, great picture of everything that happened over the years.
This is what I see from a room with a view. I see a mass of different people and cultures, blossoming like the most exotic of gardens. It's like my own personal window box, 12 stories up. I see the seasons change now. The summer is near. The boys with their tops off, all tattooed and physiqued. The girls with their visors, lunges and hats. I've got Royal Ascot at the bottom of the flats. It's cold and I'm saddened and it's late in November. The end is upon us. We're on to pastures new. To the future I can only hope for another room with another view.